Hello, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
And welcome to the Weird Science Comics channel here on YouTube, where I'm going to be going through DCeased Hope at World's End Chapter 4, written by Tom Taylor and art by Marco Fiala. And I've enjoyed this digital first series. So far, it's been a couple of one-shot type stories. You ended up starting with Jimmy Olsen, and that was more to recap what all of this whole deal with the anti-life infection was. Then you go off to Karak with Black Adam, see how he dealt with it and how he dealt with it for his nation, unfortunately ending with him being infected. And then last chapter, you ended up having a Wally West story, which was, I think, the strongest one so far. But that just was, let's see what Wally West is doing, ending up going to an alternate Earth by the end. This chapter feels more like Tom Taylor is starting up his story, starting up the main story. You do end up tying in the Black Adam stuff by the end. But from the beginning, I was actually surprised because we start with his characters, two of the characters from his Suicide Squad book that's going on currently, which I do love. And you have Airy and Wink. And I wondered how many people know who these characters are. And that kind of worries me a bit. But maybe it will get people to go over and see more of them, though. I wish there was kind of an editor's note to let people know what is going on. But you end up having Airy flying Wink through Karak, going off to a fortress named Jotunheim that is actually being held by Manticore and Araza Katua, and they end up attacking Wink and Airy. You end up with this whole bit, them just trying to prove that they're worthy enough to kind of be in this whole fortress with them and how they can help them out. And I do like the character work that you get here. I do like that Tom Taylor is putting in these two characters because they're two of the better characters from his Suicide Squad run, and you're getting a little of Airy's powers. He flies. I mean, he has wings. And you have Wink, who can teleport. So you do learn a little about them. And I do like Marco Fiala's art, even though it's a cleaner style than what we usually get from these DCeased books, but that's kind of why I like it. I actually do like it, and it fits well with this, especially with these character models too. Bruno Redondo's art that is going on the Suicide Squad book. So I just, as an aside, go check out the Suicide Squad book. But what this really is about, what this whole chapter is really about, it's Damian Wayne accepting the mantle of Batman. If you're not aware of this, in the first DCeased 6-issue mini, Batman unfortunately died. He ends up sending the cape and cowl to Damian Wayne, who does not want to accept it. And we do get some feels in this chapter, and I like that. It's weird because for some reason, after having that 6 issues of the DCeased book, then we end up having 3 issues of the Unkillables, and we kind of left behind our main heroes to kind of wait for Dead Planet to come down the line. Now, this is kind of a bridge between everything leading to Dead Planet, so it makes sense that you're going to go back and show some of these original things, because a lot of the stuff with Dead Planet's going to involve a new Trinity, including Damian being Batman. So we're seeing that, but it kind of threw it back to that. And I don't know. I did like it, but it kind of, I want to go forward with other heroes and things like that. But you do get feels. You do get Superman going down. And one of the things that Tom Taylor knows, and I really like it, and you can tell he has kids, is the idea of Superman getting down, sitting down here, but getting down to Damian's level to talk to him man to man. And he is talking to him man to man, saying, the world needs a Batman, and your dad thought you were ready. Whether or not you're just 12, you're ready. He thinks so, and he's always right. And you end up also just, getting the feels of, why don't you want to be Batman? It's not just about the symbol or whatever. And it makes sense, and it is sad, and it does get you, because Damian, that is the last thing. And if people have lost a parent, which a lot of people listening probably have, it is one of those things where you will have something that you don't want to do. I'll tell you, I did not get along with my father. He left me some bonds. This was like 4 years ago. I still haven't cashed them because it kind of is the last thing, even though I didn't really like him. And so you have a Damian who loved his father, and he just doesn't want to do this because that's the final acceptance of Bruce being dead. But he does end up putting it on. This is a very quick read. These chapters are very quick, but he puts it on. You have Alfred had helped them out. Damien, it doesn't feel right. This isn't. It's like, it will. Just give it time. It will. And then, as Alfred says, you look like your father. That is a pretty cool deal there with John. And one of the things, if you have read all of these, and it's kind of a spoiler if you haven't, but it's a spoiler going back to the first DCeased deal, John's going to go through the same thing. So it's nice to see that here. So then when we get forward to the whole deal, we'll see how John deals with it and how maybe Damien can help him out. But the thing that is going to continue this story, the plot line, is the idea that Black Adam has been turned. He is now part of the anti-life infection, and we see that he has pretty much just gone through all of Karak. And it makes sense. He wanted to save Karak, but an anti-life infected Black Adam would want all of Karak to be with him in the infection. They are now an army. They're ready to go. And we end with the army coming, and it looks gruesome. Again, this scene is where you kind of see the cartoony art may fit well with the Suicide Squad stuff. It may fit well with the Damien, Superman, all that. But then at the end, when you get the army is coming, you kind of want it to be a little more gritty, a little more scary than this. This just looks like cartoon characters that kind of have, ketchup on them or something. I'm going to pretend it's ketchup because that's how I roll. But you end that, and it's good. It's not great. It's not my favorite chapter yet. Last chapter was my favorite, but it's still gives you those Tom Taylor moments. You get it with Damien. Damien, I love. I know a lot of people don't like Damien because he's kind of a brat or worse. I actually like him because of that. I think that gives him more of a character. It gives him more of a three-dimensional feel than just one thing, even though you could say the one thing is him being a brat. But I won't say that. I will not say that. But yeah, so as we end this, I'm going to give it a 7.5. I did like it, but it feels like this is where we're going to start the story. So it's setting some things up. It's setting some Dead Planet stuff up as well. But yeah, I want to get more. I want to see how this goes. I want to see how Airy and Wink tie into all this as well, because that is a pretty cool addition. But thanks for watching and listening to this. If you enjoyed the video, please like it below. Also, subscribe to the channel if you so want to do so. And also look at the links below, because there's a lot of links to everything Weird Science. We have a DC Comics podcast and website. We have a Marvel podcast and website. We end up having this channel as well, and a Patreon channel if you want to go and support us for these videos and get a ton of shows in return. But that is it. Thanks, everybody, and I'll talk to you later.